Hey, this is Garry Kayye. I'm here with Garry Wicka, who's the VP of Marketing at LG. Garry and LG sponsored our second day of launch week, which was Digital Signage Day. He's back again today to talk about LG and how they fit into the ecosystem of display products and systems that are being built all over college campuses and also in corporate around corporations all over the world. Garry, welcome to End User Day.
Oh, well, thank you for the introduction, Garry. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, LG is one of those companies that everyone knows. You've innovated a lot of stuff. We talked about that on Tuesday. You've innovated a tremendous amount of new technology. You're sort of like the bellwether for other display companies to look at what you're doing, so we'll know what everyone else is going to do the next year, the year after that. But here we're on the final day of our 5-day event, and the keynote today was all about how everything went from normalcy to Zoom, literally in the course of less than 60 days. I think the title of it technically was From Doom to Zoom in 60 days. How is things are changing? How is LG taking these new priorities and changes to heart?
Well, first and foremost, I'm very excited to be part of LG, and one of that is that we were a little bit more prepared, I think, than others for some of the changes that happened. So about 18 months or so, we had really started partnerships with a lot of the different video conferencing companies, a lot of the collaboration partners, so that our displays worked seamlessly. And that was really our first one. We had a discussion with Cisco. We've even worked with Barco, who a lot of times people look at Barco and say, well, I think they're a competitor of yours. And in some areas they are, but in some areas we collaborate because they've got a great platform that allows that, with the ClickShare device.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look at what we're doing with Zoom, what we're doing with Crestron, we continue to build upon that. So there's some really key pieces that we look at this, and that short-term view is, you're right, people started working from home, and the thing that we're starting to look at, and you'll hear from lots of different experts, that's probably going to stay in some shape or form for long-term. And so what we're really focusing on is ensuring that the equipment that you have at home, we have amazing desktop monitors. We're the leader in 21:9, so those ultra-wide monitors. You want to make sure that you have a great experience at home. We've got the grand laptops, but we also want to make sure that for those that are in an office, that collaboration is seamless. And so that's really kind of what we've put a lot of effort behind, whether it be on interactive whiteboards, touch devices, collaboration, key pieces that'll be out there. So you'll see a lot of that being one of those. The second piece is that we're continuing to drive innovation. So though things have kind of changed in the market, you're going to see different needs in different areas, and that's something that we're starting to look at. So we'll continue to drive innovative products into the market, but we're also going to show new use cases. And so, one of the things that probably everyone's starting to look at, if you go to a grocery store right now, there's a lot of signage. It's one way in, certain hours that are there just for senior citizens. And so now there's a need for healthcare protocol signage in lots of different places. There's a great image of a hotel in New York that has literally taped on paper signage onto every railing in the hotel that says, don't touch the railing. So there's going to be signage that you're going to look at, whether you're in a grocery store, in a mall, or you're going to be in a hotel. There's going to be more signage just talking about health protocols and what those look like. And so we're partnering again with a few individuals to create something that's out of the box that you can put in, that can be mobile. So we're working on things that are different, that are exciting, but are really going to be necessary in this new world. So it's not just that one, but we've got a lot of different items that we're looking at, products and projects and different solutions that are starting to come up that are going to be different. When we think about going from home and doing Zoom, you're also looking at e-learning and what does that look like, and how does that education process change? How does telehealth change? How do you do diagnostics from home? One of the things that had already started to happen is you had a lot of radiologists that were working from home. How does that grow? How do you do telehealth more? And then how do you ensure that you've got diagnostic monitors that are still quality, just as you would in a medical area and medical facility? How do you have those at home? So, the great part about LG, we are one of the leaders in all sorts of displays, and that includes medical monitors, that includes desktops, that includes laptops, any kind of signage that you can think of. And that's really where we're starting to take a look at all of those different pieces of what it means today, midterm, and then really what does that look like for long term as we get through this scenario.
It's interesting because you here we are in end user day, and you're obviously we have a lot of end users watching this who are joining us today. And one of the points I think that you made, in addition to the strategy points that you made, is the collaborative work that you've done with other manufacturers and how seamless it can be to use LG products with the systems that they already have, because you have these relationships. You mentioned Barca with the ClickShare, you mentioned Crestron, and others. So I think that plays really in your favor, because a lot of the display companies historically have sort of looked at themselves as very siloed. The other thing I think that you didn't touch on that I see is going to be really big is your high brightness outdoor, your high brightness window facing signage, and sort of what you have going on there, because you're in a leadership position with that. And the high brightness category, and also the availability, I think you're going to see a lot, since you have less people that can be in a retail store, for example. There's going to be more need to have that content on the outside rather than on the inside. In fact, I've seen a lot of places that they're sort of shifting the way that they do things to where that might be more normalized to really kind of come outside and deliver you everything when you already kind of know what you want. Do you see that? Do you see your new high brightness window facing signage as being a big part of that?
No, absolutely. So as we kind of mentioned, that kind of health protocol process, it's going to be key, because you're going to need signage, really facing outdoors. So as people need to come up and get information, or if they're driving up in their car, they may not be able to walk up and see something that's hand printed or printed and stuck on a window. They're really going to need some visualization. If they're coming up to a grocery store, if they're coming up to the CVS, the Walgreens, they're going to need to have information, and it's going to need to be, visible. And so we really think that that's a key piece of that. If we think about drive-throughs, you've seen, drive-throughs are the one piece that is still going. And how do you make sure that you make those even more efficient and more beneficial? So when we think about outdoor signage, we think that there's a huge uptick that's going to happen in almost all the different areas. Some of these are going to happen sooner than later. I mean, as we think about hotels, that's going to be a little bit longer for them to rebound. You can think about cruise ships. That's probably a little bit even longer to rebound. But when we're talking about grocery stores or, essential retail, the Home Depots, the Lowe's of the world, those are going to definitely see and need that type of signage sooner, because they're going to have to operate a little bit differently than they had before.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you actually have a video on your new XS4F series of high brightness window facing signage displays.
When it comes to innovation, LG sets the bar high with best-in-class displays and signage. And our newest high-brightness window-facing digital displays are no different.
Another thing is we have Intel is our sponsor. They're our sponsor for the End User Day, interestingly enough, and you obviously have a big partnership with Intel, there's a lot of things going on between you and Intel that are always in the works. Can you tell me a little bit about sort of what you have going right now? Because obviously you have a big time laptop line that I'm pretty sure uses a lot of Intel chips.
It does. So, we've had a series of laptops. So we do lots of different things with Intel and with Microsoft, but one of the things that we're really excited by is our Gram series. So the LG Gram on the consumer side has been around here for a few years. So in Korea, it's been there for, I believe, about 5 years. It's been in the US for about 3. But this year, we're introducing now LG Gram for Business. And really what it is, it's taking that a step further, ensuring that we've got the right business software, right business capabilities, and of course, you're also getting a business warranty. So you're adding the key pieces along there. This is a key product both in a 14-inch, 15-inch, 17-inch, and then the very cool 2-in-1. And so these products are really going to make sure that they're available for that small business owner that may be looking for something that's a little bit lighter. This is one of the lightest products in the entire market. but also one of the most rugged. So, this is mil-spec standard tested. It really meets all of the key requirements that you need for something that's mobile that you're going to take with you. And so we're real excited. This is a big change where people are thinking about LG just purely in a display perspective, but we're also a very strong leader in the compute sector as well. We've been a leader in the Korean market for a long time, and now we're expanding that into the US market as well.
Yeah, and Intel will be happy to know that you're using Intel processors, graphic chips, and Wi-Fi chips in those Graham series, so they ought to be very happy. So any other messages that you have to share about LG? Because, you're always you always seem to surprise people with new products and technologies, and there hasn't been a show for you to surprise anyone this year. I'd certainly recommend that you go look at the videos at the bottom of the page because there's some really cool products down there. But anything you want to leave us with?
Sure. The one thing that I always want to make sure that our customers look at and think about is really, think about LG as being one of the leaders in driving many different facets of displays, whether it be the traditional LCD that you're going to put in a conference room, in the lobby. Think about direct view LED, so the signage that you're going to put on the outside of the building or in a big giant conference room. We have the 130-inch all-in-one product that makes it so easy to put direct view LED. But we don't stop there. We also have products that get into, our ultra wide. So we've got an 86-inch stretch. We've got an 88-inch stretch. You start getting into OLED. We've got the world's thinnest display that you can put on a wall. We can put that into a video wall. You can make that transparent. You can make transparent OLED video walls now. So in fact, if you go into the headquarters of the new NAB building in Washington, D.C., they actually will have a 2x2 transparent OLED video wall when you get out on the 10th floor. So there's some really cool, amazing things that we'll bring into market that can, really give you a view and create new opportunities for displays that you never really thought of, that can be, one, architecturally driven, but two, can also drive really key business initiatives. And that's really where LG plays. We don't necessarily just drive innovation for the heck of it. It's really purposeful driven innovation.
We're in a really great position. LG's been a great supporter of all those things that we've done in the industry, but also of the industry itself. And you have the coolest products. Like I said, everyone rushes to your booth first when you go to a trade show over the last 4 or 5 years because you've had some of the most innovative things. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for showing us some of the things that you're doing. And again, go to the bottom of the page, watch the LG videos at the end of the day today, as soon as the panel discussion is over with. Watch the LG videos, and you'll see all these things we've talked about. Gary Wicka, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thank you for having me today.
Stay healthy.
Yep, you too.